Workers could lose $300 a week. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your evening stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from news.com.au discussing the proposed changes to JobKeeper and how workers could lose $300. Now, before we get into this, it's really quite simple. JobKeeper is a support mechanism for businesses. It's a support mechanism for businesses. Now, if these businesses don't have the work or can't afford to keep the people on for that time, well, at least they're getting something. At least they're getting something. The state has forcefully insisted that all these businesses are shut down, restricted the travel of some people, border closures, and affected the economy to a significant extent. And of course, future generations are going to bear this burden. All the politicians will be long dead, and the debt will still be being repaid. Don't worry about that, though. The young can worry about that. Don't worry, Florian. Magic MMT fairy dust will solve all our problems. So let's have a look. The proposed JobKeeper change could slash $300 a week from workers. A new proposal to drastically change JobKeeper could see workers receive $300 less per week as bosses look to reduce workers' hours. Because you have to understand, everyone, the JobKeeper money doesn't cover all the costs associated with having a worker. There's still other costs. They're still getting a time bank of sick days. They're still getting a time bank of holiday days. There's still other payments going towards superannuation, other costs associated with having staff on board. So the fact that they're getting the JobKeeper, particularly if the staff are all stood down, they're still getting all those perks. And then, encouraging people to find other jobs. Some other businesses may not want to take them on because they may abandon you once you get them useful and working and go back to their preferred JobKeeper job. So workers could have their pay slashed by more than $300 a week under new JobKeeper laws that will allow some bosses that no longer qualify for the wage subsidy to reduce workers' hours. Well, what? JobKeeper laws that will allow some... No, you can reduce You could reduce the hours of your staff as need be because the work isn't there. But some people are going to get fired. There's two things will happen. There'll be businesses that don't need the JobKeeper, and they're just going to keep on running. There are businesses that are just at the edge of no longer getting the JobKeeper, so they'll have to cut costs to keep it running. And there are others who are just going on fumes for the JobKeeper, and for some reason, you'd imagine they'd still get at least the reduced version of it. They may have to cut hours. Previously, workers' wages could not be reduced below the floor of the $1,500 a fortnight wage subsidy, but that's about to change under proposed changes. Introducing the new laws today, Treasurer Josh Frydenberg said the changes were needed to support struggling businesses. Under the new laws, the $1,500 JobKeeper payment will be extended until March, but at a reduced rate of $1,200 a fortnight for eligible companies. The measures will provide continued workplace flexibility at a time businesses are still in distress, Frydenberg said. But Labour's industrial relations spokesman, Tony Burke, has raised concerns that the industrial relations flexibility clauses in the legislation for struggling companies will allow some companies to slash the wages of workers even if they no longer qualify. Well, they could just fire the workers if they don't need them. Under the changes, companies that previously qualified for JobKeeper but no longer will secure the wage subsidy will still be able to reduce workers' wages if their turnover is down by 10%. Well, as long as you don't go below the award wage, you can do that. You have to give notice, you have to give time. If the workers don't like it, they can leave. It's what happened. It's what happened to Rachel in her employment. They reduced all of their days. She was working for an architectural practice. Work ran out. They cut one day. Everyone got was only earning 3 days pay a week. Well, times are tough. The directors still had to come in. That's what you have to do sometimes. It's business. For example, retail workers who earn $813 a week full-time could be suddenly told they only need a part-time. A full-time retail worker under what's before Parliament right now could lose $325 a week, obviously falling well below the current JobKeeper rate, Mr. Burke told Parliament. Yeah, and you're going to have a lot of retailers that fire people, Burke. You're going to have a lot of retailers that fire people. The government can't prop them all up. What would you rather? We pay JobKeeper to keep all these struggling businesses going, or you have the people on welfare? I can see JobKeeper can have some advantages to keep these relationships going, but it also might keep a dead relationship going. It might prop up a zombie company. Would you rather be locked and chained to a zombie company, or be kicked out of the nest and forced to find something else? Sometimes hitting some adversity, hitting some challenge can be the best thing that ever happened to you in your life. There are people that losing their job, being forced, hitting the wall, going, okay, this is never happening again. What are we going to do? What are we going to change? This could be the best thing that ever happened to them. We'll have to see it in a few years. I bet you will hear stories. I was on JobKeeper, I lost my job, so I decided to start this business. You can just see it on news.com. Some news, someone selling some chili sauce or something. It calls for $1 million or some crazy like that. You never know. So even under the new JobKeeper rate, falling $100 a week short of it. This creates a situation where a worker at the time that the business they work for is doing better will see their pay cut. Well, this is what happens because the businesses can reduce their hours. Because you've set a flat floor of $1,500 with the JobKeeper, you didn't set that as a cap and allow the businesses to adapt to their needs. You've got people sitting at home not getting anything. Not doing anything and getting money. That isn't normal. How can you justify that Parliament has given permission for their take-home pay to go down? Mr. Burke said the Morrison government has backed down on moves to extend their flexibility to any company that had previously qualified for JobKeeper, a move that could have covered 3 million workers. They've backed down on that, and we welcome that, he said. Instead, the Morrison government will extend the flexibility to any company that no longer qualifies for JobKeeper, but is still recording a 10% downturn in revenues. That is a better position than what the government had a week ago, but it's still problematic. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg will also hold extraordinary powers to set the rate and eligibility of JobKeeper payments with the stroke of a pen under the rules of the extended scheme. The amended legislation does not stipulate the rate is reducing $1,500 to $1,200 a fortnight. Those changes will be introduced after the amended legislation passes the Parliament by rules, which can be changed by the Morrison government at any time. This means the Treasurer has the power to increase the JobKeeper rate if the crisis worsens, or decrease the rate without the requirement of recalling Parliament. Well, this is the thing. We don't want JobKeeper forever. Every dollar that the government provides in JobKeeper is future work that we all have to do. Every citizen and permanent resident and even temporary worker in this nation is work that we all have to do and then pay in taxes to the state. Think about it. Okay? At what cost are we bearing this burden? The ability to change the rate at will was also a feature of the previous legislation, although the Morrison government ultimately chose to leave the rate unchanged for the duration of the original program. Labour's Treasury spokesman Jim Chalmers said the powers meant the ball was in the Treasurer's court when it came to setting the rate. It's important to remember that this JobKeeper legislation does not specify the rate of JobKeeper, and it does not say who will get it, Dr. Chalmers said. It is up to Josh Frydenberg entirely and alone to determine what the rate of JobKeeper is and who is eligible for it. We have two main concerns about how he's going about the task of setting the rate and the eligibility. This is his third crack at it. Too many people have been left behind and left out in the early iterations. This is his opportunity to fix those errors that he's made. So what do you all think, everyone? What do you think? Are you worried about workers potentially losing out? Or is it just the dose of reality that the businesses that they're working for are in trouble? And are we going to start to actually see... we're going to start to see the ramifications of this recession. Will there be the political will to allow us to have a real recession? Or will they just be printing money and then, there'll be future debt burden for us? Well, no, technically the government isn't borrowing money. Isn't printing money. They're borrowing it. The RBA is printing it. We'll see inflation, our purchasing power will go down, and we'll have future work we'll need to do for the state in the future. What did you all think, everyone? Are you on JobKeeper? Are you expecting to get cut $300? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. If you're a fan, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support us, there are a few ways you can. Interacting with the channel is a great way to let YouTube know you're enjoying the content, and it helps it spread. It helps the algorithm. You can support the channel financially via joining on YouTube or Patreon, using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin, buying our merch from HeiseSays, using Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or supporting us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.